What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. We definitely think that Hearthstone's a pretty fun game to play, but it does have the problem that it can be quite difficult for newer players that are just starting out to get into the game. You have to build up a card collection, and you really just have a lot of catching up to do to the players that have been playing for way longer than you. I mean, some of the players have been playing since the beta, and you just have so many cards that you need to get, and so to investigate this new player issue, we thought we'd do kind of like a little fun experiment, I guess. So we started on a new, completely fresh account, and set a timer for 10 hours to see just how much gold we could farm by doing the quests and doing some arena runs and stuff like that. Overall, just to see how much gold can you make in Hearthstone in 10 hours, especially for you newer players. So without further ado, let's talk a little bit about our results and find out just how much gold you can make in 10 hours. So first up, we of course have to complete the initial tutorials as well as unlock all the classes in order to unlock Arena in the first place. And this takes the better part of an hour or so actually, gives us some starting gold, gives us a few packs, and gives us a free Arena run. So in order to be an infinite Arena player, which means that, you earn the gold for each Arena run back from the previous runs, you need to overall average slightly under 7 wins per run in order to make the gold back. But the thing is that Arena is typically pretty solid value if you can get just really at least 3 or 4 wins, because the thing is that at those reward tiers you get a pack and you get about 50 gold for your 150 gold buy-in, which means that at that point it's about the same, if not better, as if you had just bought the pack straight up. The only thing you're really losing is time. So if you factor in the time you spent playing Arena and then value that, well, you're going to be wanting to be in the 4+ average wins category in order to make Arena worth playing for you in terms of making gold. However, since we're on a fresh account, we didn't really have any resources and we couldn't really spend any money, so we're going to have to average close to 7 wins, maybe more, in order to play for the entire 10 hours and get great value. And so we had a little bit of a buffer because of our first free run. We also had a little bit of gold, but it was still important to have really successful runs and to play really well, otherwise we wouldn't be able to keep playing Arena in the first place, right? So at the time this video was made, the Arena balance changes have been announced so far. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but a bunch of cards are going to get changed for Arena, but they haven't actually been implemented yet at the time of making this video, which means that of course Mage is still by far the most competitive class, and there's also kind of a few classes that are difficult to get a reasonable amount of wins with, for example Priest. So when you're playing for gold, you really do want to just choose the strongest Arena classes, the most consistent classes, and focus on learning and improving on those classes specifically, rather than trying to make it work with the less optimal classes, which meant that our run would be a little bit dependent on class selection RNG, which unfortunately didn't actually end up going too well for us. Never lucky, but we'll get to that one in a little bit. So we did get pretty lucky on our first run since we get to pick Mage. We drafted a pretty sweet deck with 3 Faceless Summoners. So in this run, in our first one, we ended up going 8-3, which wasn't, not a bad start. But for our particular deck, that draft, maybe we could have gotten a little bit better. So we got 210 gold from that run and a pack for this win, so we had a great start out to the run. For our next run, we got to pick Mage again actually, and although we got a pretty solid deck, it was kind of lacking in some threats, I guess you could say. So we ended up going 6-3 with that one. We got 120 gold in a pack. So overall, not too bad so far. We're still making quite a decent amount of money. Unfortunately though, this is where our luck ran out in this session, because in the next 6 Arena runs we didn't actually get to pick Mage a single time. And it can be a little bit difficult to do well with certain classes in Arena now because of the inconsistencies, and honestly Mage is just kind of easy mode in Arena at the time of making this video, since it's just so much more consistent than all of the other decks, which is really important when it comes to like your long-term money making in terms of Arena. So we were going to have some good runs if we wanted to finish the full 10 hours without buying back in. So our third run, we went Druid. Unfortunately, we drafted a pretty mediocre deck, and we had a little bit of a road bump since we ended up going 4-3, winning only 80 gold and a pack. And so at this point, we were maybe a little bit behind on the pace where we wanted to be, but our next run helped out a little bit. So for our 4th Arena draft, we chose Warlock, ended up with a pretty sweet deck, and finished 8-3, winning 180 gold in a pack. Next round we played Paladin. Deck wasn't too great though, so we ended up going 5-3, winning just 55 gold in a pack. At this point, we're starting to get a little bit worried because our runs were not that consistent, maybe weren't going so great, but we did manage to draft 2 sweet Paladin decks at the end with tons of shielded mini-bots and picked up 2 7-3 runs back-to-back, which each awarded 150 gold and a pack. And at this point in the experiment, we were down to enough time for just one more run, which we ended up getting a Shaman, went 7-3, and got 170 gold, and of course, a pack to top it off. So overall, this kind of experiment, the experience was really interesting and really fun, kind of just like a unique thing to do, I guess, but let's just say that after the 50th Firelands portal was cast against us, well, we're pretty excited for the future balance changes to take effect in Arena. So how did we end up doing? So our total wins and losses in the Arena runs overall was 52-24 over 8 runs, which averaged 6.5 wins. So overall, not the best, but still good enough to be infinite. Win percentage of 68.4%. It's not too bad. Definitely lets us keep playing over and over again without having to spend money or grind out gold in play mode or even really do quests, honestly. But if we had gotten to play Mage a little bit more, we might have been able to get a little bit closer to a 7-win, maybe even an 8-win average. So we ended up winning 1,115 gold from our 8 arena runs, which comes down to an average of 140 gold per run. But the thing is that since we're spending 150 gold per run to enter the arena in the first place, it means that we're essentially just buying packs for 10 gold each, as well as getting, some random dust, some cards here and there, and all sorts of bonus stuff. And so after our final run, we ended up earning 11 packs and having 345 gold left over in reserve. And so if we count a pack as 100 gold, which is actually, completely reasonable since that's the market price, and it's what you're going to expect to spend as a newer player if you're playing without spending money, that's going to put us at a total of 1,445 gold for our 10 hours of playing Hearthstone. If we factor in the random dust, the golden card rewards we got from some of the arena runs, we can pretty easily say that for our 10-hour grind on a new account, we effectively earned a little bit more than 1,500 gold. I think that's a pretty reasonable estimate. Some of this was due to the rewards that the newer players get for just having started up an account, gone through the tutorials and stuff like that. But if we put up similar arena results, maybe, honestly, we probably could have gotten better arena results, we could easily make 1,000 gold in packs or just value in a day of playing overall. So the top deck on the current Tempo Storm meta snapshot is Aggro Shaman, which is a pretty fair option for a budget deck in the meta right now, which costs 3,380 dust. So 3,380 dust divided by 80 dust or so, which is probably the pack average you're going to see. The actual average is a little bit higher, but it gets pulled up because of golden legendaries. Anyway, that's going to give us 42.25 packs, or about 4,225 gold to build what is essentially the best deck in the game right now at the time of making this video. It's not the most expensive deck, but it is a great option. You can totally get legend with it, which essentially means that if you take the experiment into account and how much gold you can make at a reliable rate, with just some time dedication, a little bit of arena skill as well, we can build a tier 1 deck that's super solid, really competitive, absolutely for free, in just 4 days after having started playing, in the most ideal scenario. So obviously you might not want to play the game for 10 hours a day, maybe you don't have as much arena practice or experience or skill or whatever, but this experiment was more about finding out how difficult it is for a newer player to build a tier 1 deck for free, and honestly it's definitely doable as long as you make some smart decisions, you get a little bit better at arena, put some time into improving, and overall spend your gold wisely, and it should work out quite nicely for you on average. And you can definitely get lucky and have things be a lot easier for you. You pull out a golden legendary, that's going to make your deck easy peasy in terms of building. So this was kind of just like a little experiment for fun to get an experience of trying to make as much gold as we could in 10 hours to see what it's going to be like for new players, because the team behind this channel, all of us pretty much started playing during beta, so it's been a really long time since we were new players, so we kind of wanted to just do this experiment as a way to learn a lot more about the newer player experience. Of course, the hardest part is actually getting good enough at arena in the first place. Now, the thing is that our run overall, the 10 hours probably could have gone a lot better. I don't necessarily want to blame RNG, but this 10 hours of playing arena was probably a below average for us, and we might definitely do more 10-hour experiments in the future. Definitely let us know in the comments below if you'd be interested in seeing some new stuff. Maybe we could do it with a different kind of goal, or I don't know exactly, but it'd be an interesting thing to try again in the future. And anyway, looks like that's gonna be it for me. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.